All right, for segment one today, we are going back into Battlelords of the 23rd century, where we are going to talk about blob people and mushroom people and farting people and
radioactive people.
Well, that was the mushroom people. Yeah, radioactive people. Yep. Some bugs. I mean, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of weird shit today. Stuff. God, segment one. Okay.
Stop swearing. All right, let's kick this pig.
Yeah, ouch. Okay, so share. Nope, not sharing because I'm going to move my screens around. You know, I always do that wrong. We're going to do it right today. Got that. Okay, share screen, share the center screen. Boom. I said share the center. Oh, got to take that off. Hey, it's almost like I've done this once or twice before. Almost. So yeah, today, today might not be as long as previous. But we'll see. Got it. Back up.
Noro, come on. This is the first time I've ever not worn a shirt because I happened to wear them and they were both dirty.
It's pretty gamey. I can get with it. Oh, I mean, I can't really see what. Okay, that's Iron Man.
Yeah, it's Iron Man.
And we're gonna start with the Mazians.
Okay, I have a number one. Last week we could not remember the name of the show or the name of the actor who played the Blob in the TV show. The TV show is the Orville.
Oh,
and Norm Macdonald. There it is the voice actor who plays a green blob. This is that character. Basically, this is it. Now, before we get into the description and all the stuff, on paper, playing this character seems OP. You read all of the bonuses, you read all of the stuff that this race can do, you know, all this crap. You're like, oh my God, this is so OP. I gotta play this. But then you have to role play a green gelatinous goo. Can you do that? Not many people can. So think about that before you commit.
There's also one other pretty striking weakness to these guys.
There is, yeah. Sonic attacks are not great, but
just hit points. When you see the hit points they get,
the thing is so much OP stuff. Let's get into it. But
the Mazians have always been tough for game masters because where do you limit the player's imagination? Because one of the reasons you play this species is for that imagination. So. Yeah, I could see myself being a pretty hardcore DM because, you know, when you have almost infinite capability to shape change, again, big caveats to that, but all right, so they are amphibious, amorphous, blob-like beings from the planet Karis, and I don't care about the rest. They can change shape, color, size, texture, and even density.
Yes, density. They can float or sink. They can... Oh my God!
They can make them. They can turn themselves into shields.
It's outstanding.
So we're not going to go through it today. We'll go through it next week. But the shape change skill is a page and a half long.
It's crazy. It's like a freaking Green Lantern ring. You can do anything with it. It's just your imagination.
With sufficient training and access to relevant details about the target's behavior, a Mazian can impersonate a specific person to near perfection. But that is a pretty big caveat. And there is an explanation about it. So if Mazians are in the room, or if there's a Mazian in the room and it sees something, it can vaguely look like it, enough where if you're glancing, you don't notice a difference. However, if you put it through scrutiny, there's going to be a problem. On the flip side, if it like oozes over it, touches it, feels it, and gets it all gross, then it can mimic it perfectly.
Yeah.
They do not have normal internal organs, as each cell exists as a separate, almost self-sustaining entity. The cells communicate and work in a harmonious symbiotic relationship. So they're like a combination of life forms?
Yeah, they're like a colony of cells.
They possess a brain-like organ called a central ganglion mass. I think they said that in the Orville too. And a neural mesh network that functions as a centralized nervous system. Look, we don't have to go into every little nuance of the race. We want to talk about kind of what they're about, what they do, right? They don't breathe. The cells run solely on anaerobic energy production. As a result, what's that?
They don't need any kind of air. They can exist in any environment because the atmosphere doesn't matter. Well, not an environment of acid or lava or whatever, but any
atmosphere,
completely non-destructive environment they can survive in because they don't need to breathe.
Yeah, probably not Venus because that's pretty corrosive, but yeah.
Yeah, and super hot. Yeah.
Gas attacks which affect lungs, such as tear gas, have no effect. A Mazian's ability to change its shape, density, and elasticity gives it many unique abilities. Why would you say it here and then? Editor! For movement, a Mazian can roll, bounce, slither, and spring with surprising speed.
Yeah.
But
no, I would actually call that surviving speed because you're not going to get hit. Yeah.
They can also change their shape into a balloon or a glider if they want to take flight. So, of course, the Mazian could mimic an alien species and walk or run wherever it needed to go. Mazians can choose to manipulate only a portion of its body to mimic some aspect of alien anatomy that they have observed. So you kind of get the idea here. I already mentioned some of this, but some Mazians
can grow legs and feet to a blob with legs and feet to run, or a blob with arms to hold guns, whatever.
Or like 50 hands to type on a computer.
Yeah. It's whatever you can imagine, basically.
And it actually changes the attributes of the character.
Yes, you can change your dexterity, your movement scores, your threshold rating, your agility. All that stuff changes depending on your density, your shape, how many arms you have, how many legs you have, all that stuff. It's a game master's nightmare. Basically, this character is a game master's nightmare. You have a character's stats that can change on the character's whim, basically.
So again, there are limitations. We'll talk about them. Mazian's shape change skill allows it to increase its agility, manual dexterity, move scores, and add a threshold rating. That's the density part.
Yeah.
See the skills chapter for more. Remember, page and a half just on that one skill.
We're not going to explain it all today. Just
that's really next week.
Good.
Whether a Mazian is carrying equipment externally or internally, gelatinous cube, the total amount of equipment carried is still dictated by its strength attribute, and they're not strong. So let's take a look. Oh, look, here are our favorite blobby people.
Yep, there you go.
Now, there are a few things I want to show off in the attribute block here in just a moment. All right. So strength starts at a minus 25. So the maximum strength, we roll that perfect score is a 75. Yep. Still pretty good, but I mean, chance of you getting there are pretty low. Manual dexterity is at a 15. Agility, con is 25, and aggression is 15. They're live and let live. They're like, whatevs, man. You know, they're pretty smart though. What's that?
Oh yeah.
Now, here's what's funny. Run, jump, fly, 220. That's in blob form.
Yeah, it gives the blob form, and that little asterisk is down under special abilities. Can increase their run, jump, fly scores using their shape change. Like, I want to change into a bird. Okay, then you can fly like that bird. I want to change into a rabbit. Well, then you can jump and run like that rabbit. Okay.
If you soak up that rabbit, if you slither around,
yeah. But
if you gelatinous cube the rabbit, yes, you can.
Yeah, you gelatinous cube the rabbit, you can go into a perfect rabbit. But even if you just like sense its vibrations or are within 10 meters of it, is their eyesight, because they don't have very great eyesight, then you can do an approximate rabbit, which will get you an approximate jump.
Wasn't this the species that didn't know about space flight because they couldn't see the sky? Or is that a different one? I know one of these is like, they're like, oh shit, there's space flight out there? Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, think about it. Their eyes only work up to 10 meters, and they rely on vibration sense, which only works up to 100 meters. So they wouldn't know anything beyond that range. They literally cannot perceive anything beyond that range. So they wouldn't know about space. They wouldn't know about stars. Right. They wouldn't know like why it's warm. Why it's warm and bright on half the day and dark and cold on the other half of the day. They wouldn't understand it because they wouldn't have no frame of reference.
So if you look at their resistances, the ECRs, I'm still used to the SMRs, but the ECRs, Bios, remember, we figured out last week that 25 is kind of the baseline.
Yep.
So against bio, mental, and radiation, yeah, good luck.
40.
Really good luck. On the other hand, you can zap them. I can shock them. Also chemical. So I wonder if this is like the whole salt thing. Like, what happens if you dump a bunch of salt on a Mazian?
Well,
are they slugs?
Yeah, maybe. Well, they don't have a hard epidermal layer like all the other races, like skin. They don't have the skin protection. So I understand why chemicals would do more damage to them, because it instantly infiltrates their body.
Genetically speaking, Marhakman, why would they need binoculars or a telescope? They like their world.
They wouldn't. I mean, unless someone told them there was stuff you can't see, they wouldn't care.
As Heathen Dog already stated, this hearing is pretty high, and it's based on the whole vibrations thing. They're very sensitive to vibrations and whatnot. Now, Heathen Dog, you've read this, I think, or at least skimmed through it. How do they like to travel?
Really, like I said, it depends on the player character, really.
Well, fair.
Yeah,
but but what was written into the book?
On
the back of Scissor X.
I don't remember. On the back of, okay, yeah. Yeah,
so the Scissor X, if you remember the cat people from last week, the hyena cat people from last week, they like to carry on the Mazians, and it's great because the what do you call them? The Scissor X purr, the Mazians love it. The Mazians like to touch, so they get like all their sensations fulfilled. It's almost like a mutual massage. And even the Scissor X will say, unless you've had a massage from a Mazian, you don't know what you're missing. So it's a nice little racial thing there. Okay, what do they eat? Pretty much anything that's gross. They're just gross. And non-digestible solids are expelled at the earliest convenience. Home environments. Mazians are the most versatile species known to the Alliance when it comes to living conditions and shape changing and character class. And they're the most versatile everything. Well, they're not the most survivable. Did you see the hit points?
Yes, I did.
2 plus a D4.
That's crap.
Yeah.
But good luck killing it.
A moist box in the corner of a room is more than enough for a Mazian. So again, in the same little plush box with the Scissorak, they're all friends. Don't ask, don't tell. Let's move on. So anyway, they lived in oceans, streams, lakes, and any wet or moist environment on land. These included beaches, marshes, estuaries, rainforests, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, they're frogs. Basically, where you find frogs, or other amphibious things, you'll find Mazians. They're fine.
The Mazians were first discovered by the Scissorak in 1011 BC. The Scissoraks had claimed the planet for colonization, not knowing of its inhabitants. Since Scissorak liked to bask in the sun on the beach, the Mazians were drawn to the purring sound and attempting to engulf the sleeping Scissorak. As the Scissorak awoke to find itself so as the Scissorak awoke to find itself covered with Mazians, it was naturally alarmed.
No kidding. Yeah, I'd be naturally alarmed too.
Like some goo is trying to wrap itself around me. The Mazians, however, were fascinated. Ooh, if we rub here, the vibration gets stronger, and here it decreases. And mind as the Scissorak took them back to the camp. Shortly afterwards, both realized the intelligence of the other. Strangely enough, the two species developed strong friendly relations, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you just kind of get the idea. I only read that because I kind of wanted to point out the nuances of the race, so. Mazians generally like mostly lion species. However, they will go out of their way to avoid Chitilians. Mazians finds the empath's natural ability to locate and speak with them extremely unnerving. And yes, Chitilians have a habit of finding undercover Mazians. So.
And of course, they also use sonic-based weapons, which does horrible damage to something that's made of mostly water and has no bones.
Oh, kind of backtracking on last week's episode real quickly, I realized there was something missing about the Chitilians.
What's that?
The crystals. They I can't remember if they were required or like required by law or required just as the natural state of the empathic powers, but they had focus crystals.
Okay.
I don't remember reading that a single time.
I don't remember reading that either, no.
That was like a mandatory thing. Mm-hmm. And that also jogged my memory and made me look up when we talk about the Mutzachans. I don't remember reading in here that the Mutzachans were required to wear robes. In the previous versions of the game, basically, if you could, black hole a freaking planet into nothingness, you were required to wear a dress just to prove that, hey, look,
If you act like a wizard, you got to dress like a wizard.
Right? And I don't remember reading that. Maybe I missed it. But all right, all Mazians are kin. We come from the same root, even if our genetics have diverged. This is the truth of all life. So they're pretty live and let live.
Yep.
They have elaborate greeting rituals when meeting an individual for the first time. This involves intertwining while rhythmically pulsating against each other. So it's the dog humping your leg.
Well, they're talking about each other at this point.
Same difference.
Like other Mazians. I mean, I'm sure that a Mazian dealing with another species they never met is not going to go, oh, can I absorb and climb all around you and vibrate in different areas? I'm sure that doesn't go over well all the time.
Well, let's see. When greeting a non-Mazian for the first time, Mazians engulf the other party since they cannot intertwine.
That would not go over well for me.
It's like, I hope you're huggy, because this greeting can last up to 3 days.
Nope. Pass.
Naturally, Mazians have discovered that non-Mazians do not appreciate being inside a living slime puddle for prolonged periods of time. So, yeah, anyway. The Mazian's natural language consists of thumps, pops, and whistles. If the target lives 3 days, they're somewhat gas permeable. I think you can breathe in there. Maybe.
Well, they're not mean. They're not going to cover your mouth.
Right.
Well, unless they want to kill you, then I suppose they can.
Mazians did not originally have a written language. Why write something down for future generations when you can just split in half and remember it forever?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, man. Sense. This is one of my favorite races. I don't know if I would allow one as a game master, but it is.
No. That would bring yourself a special kind of hell.
All right, values and attitudes. Back to the important stuff here. Values and attitude towards time. Time is something to share with those closest to you, joined in harmony. Achievement. It is meaningless, useless. It is meaningless unless it helps the whole. What is going on? Like, I can see the words, my mouth is saying other stuff. Work. You mean joy? It improves and helps the whole. Oh, please come over to my house. I got a lot of enjoyment for you.
We got lots of stuff for you to clean. You can get into all the crevices that I can't reach.
Right? It's like those keyboard cleaners. Have you seen them? They just look like puddles of goo
in there, and you can pull out the whole thing. But
this would just be splook. It'd just be splook. Okay, next.
Exactly. Yeah. How do you wash them? It doesn't say how they clean themselves.
They just expel it.
They just expel. That's right. They just expel non-digestible material. Okay, expel it into that bucket over there. Clean my house. It's
what they think about change. The universe is a panorama of nothingness, beautiful, unreal, and ever-changing.
That makes absolute sense because they can't actually see effects of the universe. So to them, it would be a nothing thing. Like, it's more an idea than a reality to them. Even when they're traveling through space, looking out a window means nothing. It doesn't, there's no vibration in space. So to them, the universe as a whole would be an abstract thing.
On the scientific method, they believe so logical. It helps prove our point that we must work together. And finally, on risk-taking, if it's good for the whole, I can do it. Compare that to the Raazet when we get there.
Yeah.
Politics, they have no practical government, but practice a form of anarchy with genocratic tendencies ruled by the intelligent. We need to do something. We all get together and do it with the smartest leading the way. They have no interest in power or in the domination of others. They have a live and let live attitude.
Yep.
And there you go. All types of blob monsters. And every time I see this, I think of that big amoeba in Star Trek, the original series.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, or those little vomit things that hit Spock in his back.
Oh, yeah. Those little
they're just fake vomits.
Yeah. They were fake, but they were like bugs or something. They did a similar thing in Stargate SG-1, as an homage to that. Yeah, mind parasite. Right, exactly.
All right, I'm gonna let you take this chapter if you're okay with that. Are you prepared for this? Okay, yeah, we're going to talk about the Mutzachans. And the reason I'm having Heathen Dog do this is because, well, this is the race he played originally.
Yes, I want to see how they're different. And I look at that and I read Mutzachans.
I know, so
Chan.
We also pronounce a lot of the races wrong. 7th edition even changed some of the pronunciation of the races. I didn't give into that one. It's Mutzakin, or Mutzachon, not Mutzakin. It's a CHA, not a CHI.
Right.
I'll give you the car. I'm not giving you the.
Yeah. Got it. All right. Bipedal humanoids that are smaller and lighter than humans. Their most pronounced feature is their enormous bulbous heads with their large egg-shaped eyes. Basically, if you think about the stereotypical gray alien, you're not far off. You're not very far in your mental image on that one. Their head attaches to a slim neck, which barely seems capable of holding something like the size of their head. Their heads are pretty lighter. Their necks are pretty strong. Their mouth contains no teeth and only accept liquids, and we'll explain that one in a minute. They do not secrete fluids or solids and have no means to do so. But they drink. Why? What happens to that? What? We'll get to that. Don't worry. Their nose is flush with the Mutzachans' head, and part of the ear openings, the side of the head. Their ear openings are approximately half the size of their eyes. Okay. That's enough on like I said, gray alien. Short, big gray head.
Should I show the picture, or do you want to do they don't eat first?
Yeah, show them the picture. There you go. See that? Yeah.
This neck seems a little big to me.
Yeah. The neck is a little big. I don't
Maybe
know
that's clothing or something.
It could be a turtleneck type thing to do that. I don't know.
My favorite Mutzakan. While you're doing this, I'm going to get my favorite Mutzakan image.
Okay. Mutzachans do not eat. They absorb power directly from their environment, devices, and energy sources like batteries. This is due to their cellular chemistry directly absorbing the radiant energy and storing it for use. They do drink, capable of drinking liquid, but prefer liquids with a high number of carbon molecules like turpentine, formaldehyde, toluene, benzene, gasoline. These drinks cause various states of inebriation and hallucinations for them, with turpentine being the favorite intoxicating beverage. Another drink of choice is irradiated nuclear wastewater. During the Mutzachans' first meeting with humans, they purchased all the humans had. It is now considered a vintage brew and served at fancy Mutzacan parties. Now, they literally live off of energy, any kind of energy. Radiation, electricity through batteries. It doesn't say heat, which technically is a form of energy, but not heat, but radiation and energy. When I played mine, I had a little sphere, a little lead sphere, and inside was some plutonium. And every once in a while, I would open it up, put it to my mouth, have a little snack, close it up so it doesn't irradiate everyone around me. Now, the problem with this diet, we're gonna get into it more later. It covers it more in a couple of minutes. But the absorbing of radiation is not a conscious act.
Right.
It is an unconscious thing. So they have to be very, very careful. And that's why my Mutzakan did not use an energy weapon. He used an old style projectile rifle. And
Click.
we're gonna get into why in a minute. All right, home environment. The Mutzachans prefer urban environments between -6 to 35 degrees Celsius, which is, human range as well. Well, the 35 is a little high, but
the 6 is a little low too.
Yeah, 6 is a little low, but there are places where people live where it gets a -6 quite a bit. So
oh yeah.
Yeah. Their ideal home is made of metal alloys with large windows or view screens, allowing an unimpeded view of their park-like surroundings. Okay, so they like floor-to-ceiling windows. Fine. Okay. A typical home is 4 to 5 floors with around 25 rooms. That's a lot of rooms, man. I mean, you really need those rooms? Several generations of a family typically share their home. Oh, okay. Yeah, you need the rooms. All right. Got it. If you have a Mutzakan working in an uranium mine, will it become obese? No. The radiation ability shuts off when they're full.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
Shuts off when they're full. So you don't got to worry about getting fat. The Mutzachans' home planet, Trishmach, is high in radioactive isotopes. Trishmach, I'm doing that on purpose. Surface contains uranium-235, plutonium-255, deuterium-305, rutolium.
Okay, Mr. Science. Okay, Mark Hockman, you can stop now. Let's go to the next one.
All right. Lots of radioactive elements. That's why their body developed in this way. Once per month, they have to isolate themselves and drain their clear blood, which their body quickly replaces with newly created blood. Since they have no kidneys, this is the only way to clean out waste products in their bloodstream.
This is an important aspect of the game.
Very important. If you don't do this, Every day you don't do this, after the 30 days, there's a chance you're going to die. It gets worse.
Stroke and heart attack.
Yeah, stroke and heart attack. You're just gonna, and usually, that's die.
Because the blood actually clogs up.
Yes. With waste elements. Yes. They also have reed worms, which is weird. Okay. This is how they expel waste products. All Mutzachans place a leech-like creature called a reed worm into a small cavity located in their armpit. The worm digests poisons and bodily waste that would otherwise build up and kill him. The creature survives on these fluids, creating a symbiotic relationship that has existed for the two species for millennia. Now, the worm grows, and then it creates other worms. It has its own life cycle. The Mutzkin has to be careful to cleanse out the excess worms, because excess worms end up also causing you problems. So
I'm sorry, I did have a mistake on that. It isn't the radiation that clogs the blood; it's the worms that clog.
Yeah, the worms clog the blood. You gotta filter them out, or it's gonna get bad. So now we go into the species overview. Tech level 7. So far, the highest starting tech level of any race that we've covered so far.
I said 15 last week. I think that's because I was reading too much Traveler. I don't remember what the max tech level in this game is, but because I've been reading multiple things at a time, okay. I think the 15. So I think I made a mistake last week when I said that 15 was the highest in this game.
Okay, so far this is the highest of what we've covered, and they have a life expectancy of 2,000 years. So if you can get your body to absorb radiation for food, you're gonna live a long time. Now let's look at their statistics. Strength and con. They're little gray aliens. Obviously not going to be very strong, not going to be very durable, but check out their IQ. This is the smartest race that we've covered so far.
It's just straight up the smartest race. Yeah. Look at its save versus radiation.
99. There's literally a 1% chance to take damage from any radiation.
Mr. Bond, I shall radiate you and you will die a horrible death. Yeah, bring it on, bitch.
Do your worst, fool. But electricity, fire, those are all forms of energy as well. So they're very resistant to them, where they're not resistant to biological and chemical attacks, because the con is very low. Their bodies don't have the ability to handle chemical and biological attacks because they don't have kidneys. They don't have a liver. So any toxins that do get in their blood stay in there for the whole 30 days, and there's no way to get it out immediately. So they will take more damage from that. But look at their body points. 1 plus a D6. That's almost as bad. Well, okay, arguably as bad as the green goo. They were 2 plus a D4.
Mm-hmm.
These are 1 plus a D6. So depending on your roll, this could be worse.
Didn't you, as you're a Mutzichan, you were carried in one of the Ram Python's backpacks, weren't you?
Yes. And
a little baby carrier.
I think it was Sheris, actually. I think it was Sheris. And I also, when I wanted to shoot, I would have him kneel, and I would use his shoulder as a steady, as a tripod. Yeah. He couldn't hear out of this ear for the whole time. But vision, hearing, and smell, obviously, their nose and their nose and their ears, they're just slits or holes. There's no actual ear to funnel noise in, so very, very low. And their eyes are basically crap.
Now on top of this, on top of all these high numbers, you're like, wow, that race, okay, so they're small, whatever. Got all these bonuses. Smart, so that means they're going to be great at doing some skills.
Technical stuff is going to be
and super. They're matrix controllers.
Yeah, they're one of the few. How many? 3 races?
3.
Yeah, they're one of the 3 races that can
arguably
use this version of magic.
Yep, and I say inarguably, but arguably the strongest of the matrix. Really, this little dude right here who comes up to your pee-pee right there can absolutely, with training and time, just put a black hole in the center of your planet.
Yeah, it's all new Star Trek. It's all, you're like, Vulcan? Fuck it. I mean, sorry.
Apparently, 7th edition And I'm going to need you to focus on this more than me when we get to that part. But apparently, 7th edition has changed Matrix powers and made it a little harder for the Mutzachans to get up that high that quickly. I don't know enough about that. I never played a Matrix controller, so I don't know enough about how it was leveling that up. But still, if the ability is still in this book, which I bet you it is, can create miniature black holes.
Yep. And it was easy. It was relatively easy to get there if you just stayed focused and put all of your experience into one tree, basically into one, beeline right to the black hole. You can get there pretty quick. Hopefully they fix that up. What, super smart but can't handle a sneeze? I can just imagine like the hypochondriac nerd stereotype from high school movie. They have a well, we're gonna get that to in their culture, but they helped form the alliance. So yeah, species liabilities. They're susceptible to disease, obviously, because they don't have any liver or kidneys. Energy-based weapons cost 50% more, and this is why. This is why. Remember, I told you that their feeding mechanism is automatic. So if they're touching a battery or an unshielded energy source, even by accident, just leaning on it, they will automatically start draining that energy source until they are full and then shut off. The only time that they know what's going on is if the energy source or they get hot, which means the energy source is draining, and if they get hot, that means they're getting full. That's when they'll notice it. So the reason energy weapons cost 50% more is because they have to be specially shielded. So they don't just drain it by carrying it around. Specially shielded, battery packs, specially shielded casing for their weapons, and it costs super. And wearing armor doubles the Matrix generation cost. I don't know.
That's actually different.
Before. I thought it was just helmets before.
So one of the points, and I have not read through it myself. Plus, to be fair, I don't remember enough of the rules specifically to have a good grasp of it. But one of the concepts of the 7th edition was to simplify the armor to some degree. Okay. So I think armor is just armor now, but we'll figure that out when we get there.
All right, it's fine. Engineering skills cost 1 point less per level. So not only are you smart and you do better at engineering skills, it costs less too. And the level 1 generation skill, I'm not sure what that is.
Matrix.
Oh, generation is the Matrix use skill. Okay. All right. We get to the history.
So the only paragraph that's important here is this one.
Okay, what is available about Mutzchan history is a very dry read. It outlines the slow and steady progress of their society with few, if any, interesting footnotes. The names of leaders and inventors are regularly recorded along with cities, planets located, life forms identified. In fact, their history is so boring that the Chitilians accuse the Mutzchans of scrubbing their history of anything of import. Like, dude, there's no war? There's no conflict? There's no city-states? You just bypass that whole thing? Bullshit. I call BS on that. Other races be like, no, man, we had to claw our way to the stars. You did it 400,000 plus years ago, and you all did it like, logically. You're lying. We're not lying. You're lying. We're not lying. That's just how it worked. When you're as smart as us, you make less mistakes. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is.
Or you know how to cover them up very well.
Yeah. The dumbest of their race is technically above average.
Oh, by far, leaps and bounds. Yes.
No, compared to all other races, like literally a brain damaged Muzachans is still smarter than most than a ram. Most smart other races.
Than a ram. So the 2 exceptions are the plague, and I know people don't like how I say that word, but fuck off. And the second is I keep cussing the segment 1. I apologize. I gotta stop doing that. I really do. The second is the planning of the alliance. Do you want to go into either of those?
Yeah, we're going to go with we'll do it. Yeah, plague and the alliance. Okay. The plague. The cause of the plague was lost during the resulting chaos, and records from the time frame are incomplete and limited in scope. To date, Mutzchan population has not recovered to its pre-plague levels. All Mutzchan regularly undergo blood scans to check themselves. It doesn't give me enough information. When was this plague? And, the reason I want to know when it was is because if they're still not up to their former pre-plague population levels, that is very telling, depending on how long ago the plague was. You know, and their birth rate. You know,
I can't honestly tell you if it was written in another source somewhere, like in earlier editions, if it says it's 100,000 years ago or something like that. I don't know, so I'm not going to say, oh, it's never written down. But I will say I like the vagueness of it because that allows you as the game master to employ certain story hooks.
Sure.
Like maybe the plague is very recent, like within a couple of generations. Sure, to us it's 2,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. But
yeah, but to them who lived 2,000 years, a couple of generations, a very long time. As a matter of fact, it was the plague that sparked the idea in them to create the alliance. After the plague, the Vision of 8, which I'm sure is like their ruling council, determined the Mutzachans must have allies if they were to survive and thrive in the universe with their reduced population. So they put out a plan. They went to other races and said, hey, we want to form an alliance. It's going to be mostly trade and cooperation. And the only military thing is going to be we will defend each other if we get attacked, you know, stuff like that. But we're not going to be a militaristic type organization. And they went out and they sold it.
Hey, got to say hello to our girlfriend Aaron the Pedantic.
Hey, Aaron.
He says, ahoy, ladies. Hello. Oh, laddies. I see. I can't read, but I'm gonna go. I'm sticking to my guns on this one. Hey, baby.
All right, and it gets into the family thing. I'm not really worried about that. But on the last sentence there, Mutzachans like to keep pet rocks. That was my pet rock, particularly when traveling. Usually a hunk of uranium or some other radioactive metal. The primary purpose is to keep the Mutzachans warm, meaning slightly irradiated. When traveling, Mutzachans usually will keep meat to warm themselves by each other's stone. Not all Mutzachans are social. That's fine. Values and attitudes. Time. It's so fleeting, even to us. Okay. Achievement. It is what makes life worthwhile. Work. It gives life meaning. Wealth. It comes to those that earn it. This is, I know, right? I mean, they are just super logical, they don't, it seems like they just don't get mad.
If you want to play a Spock with a little more character,
this is it. Change. The world does, but we are constant. If you live 2,000 years, you see change as something that happens to others. That's pretty much it. Scientific method. Is there any other way? Good answer. Risk-taking. Careful planning eliminates risk. Also good answer. This is why they haven't had wars, constant wars in their history. World War I, World War II, World War III. They didn't have any of that stuff because they thought everything out. They made contingency plans in case something went wrong. They have a political system that has checks and balances, make sure everyone's heard. You know, everyone among the 80 stands up for the 20. They're very logical. This is just down the line, you know, boring as heck, but they get it done. They get stuff done. They're the oligarchy called the Vision of 8. These 8 individuals approve every law, determine which technology is shared, and set the goals for the Mutzachan people. They also represent the Mutzachans on the Council of Tamar. The position lasts for as long as a Mutzachan maintains their power, status, and wealth. Few Mutzachans ever come close to reaching this goal. The Vision of 8 controls all Mutzachan space. They seek to expand their influence and reach, but they rarely move beyond their planets. Power is literally at and within the 8's fingertips. These guys have absolute power. The reason Mutzachan society can survive this pseudo dictatorship is because they're Spocks. They're all Spocks. They don't make rash decisions. They don't make emotional conclusions. That's how they survive. And then there's the matrices. Here you go. Here's the magic. One of 3 races that uses the science magic.
Science magic.
Exactly. That's what I called it in Star Trek, but yeah, same thing. Mutzachans are also known as energy controllers. This is because they have the ability to drain, store, and expel energy due to their unique evolution and specialized physiology. Mutzachans have become so adept at focusing energy, they can now achieve an amazing number of effects. They can turn themselves invisible by, absorbing or redirecting light, or fire blasts of deadly superheated plasma. It's rumored that some very old and very skilled Mutzachans can travel instantly across the galaxy or even destroy entire solar systems. It's not a rumor. It's true. It's true. This, however, has never been confirmed. I'm confirming it. True. There is some quantifiable evidence that Mutzachans have been able to travel through time, even if only momentarily. I don't know if that's true. I didn't look at that path. These amazing effects, called matrices, are accomplished by surgeon-like precision and pinpoint application of the Mutzachans' stored energy reserves. Mutzachans learn matrices in school. Each matrix achieves a specific effect by channeling and focusing energy in very precise ways.
Look, I don't care if they make me wear a dunce cap. I'm going to Mutzacan school.
Exactly, right? I mean, you're going to be the dumbest thing there. I mean, the class pet's probably as smart as you are, but still, it's a better education.
I'll still be the bully and beat him up.
There you go. But yeah, there, like I said, there are different paths you can take, and if you focus on one path in the 4th edition game that we played, you could go up the rank really quick. Now, if they changed it for this game, great. If not, then they probably make you branch out a little bit. But that's fine. And the energy rain, I already talked about this. It's automatic and an unconscious effect, and they don't know it's happening until they're full, which means they get warm. Like, oh crap, sorry, I just drained your rifle of all its energy. Whoops. But anyway, the energy units, pistols and rifle magazines hold this much energy units. A Mutzacan can hold, where is it? I'm trying to find how much energy they can hold.
I forgot. I know I read it.
I can't find it.
Look, we're not here to read the whole book to everybody.
Okay,
they can find that part out.
But yeah, the reason why weapons and devices are 50% more costly for them is because they instinctively and automatically drain it as soon as they start to get in physical contact with it. So, that's why I used a sniper rifle, just with regular bullets.
Now, if you're trying to
50 caliber thing, but still,
you're trying to break the game, the Mutzacan drain ability does not supersede the rule
that a matrix controller may not refill their PowerPoint capacity more than twice a day. This includes the initial recharge of the matrix controller gets from a full night's of rest. So you can full night rest, you get your maximum PowerPoint capacity back. Great. You use it. And then you want to recharge. You can recharge, but you can only recharge one time. You use it again, you got to wait till tomorrow. So you're not going to be just throwing out laser blasts and plasma blasts and all that crap all day long, as long as you have a giant battery Tesla coil thing on your back and just crank it up. Yeah, just juice me up, baby. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So yeah, you're not going to break the game.
All right. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So one, we have our guest waiting.
Okay.
We still have like 6 races to go through. I'm not going to speed it up to the point of getting nuts, but we're not going to be quite as in depth as the next ones. I don't think we need to be. First of all, I don't like the Orions. I didn't like them. I haven't liked them before now. I still don't like them. It's just, I wish Garthon was here because that's what he played. Go figure.
They're like elves. They're kind of like elves.
Well, I don't know if they're like elves.
They
have 7 fingers.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, well,
I don't like elves, so
that's actually not why. I don't know. There are a lot of reasons I don't like them. I don't like roguish classes or races. Like, I never really have, except for hobbits, because they're just too lazy. They just don't do anything else. Yeah. Anyway, the Orions are bipedal humanoids with body configuration like humans, except both hands and feet, and with 7 digits. And they have pointy ears. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, you don't know what an Orion actually looks like, except for it has pointy ears.
And 7 fingers.
Any physical similarities with humans ends there, though you wouldn't know that by looking at them, because they are so into body modification, they do it before you're born.
Yep, they do it in utero.
Yep.
It's weird. They are weird. creepy even.
Yeah. They have multiple small organ systems that are spread throughout the body that function like a liver, spleen, kidneys. So anyway, while many human religions point to a similar look of Orions as evidence of God, few know or believe the truth of the Orion's similar build and look. Orions are masters of cosmetic surgery. Orion surgery starts within the womb. Yes. Skin and hair coloration, hair pattern, and coverage, bone shape, tattoos, blah, 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 modified in your... All right.
Now, their society's freaking weird.
Yes.
They modify their bodies like we would modify our wardrobe as the latest trend.
And they see it as status.
Yes. If you look like the latest trend in how you're supposed to look, that's a symbol of status right there.
This is based on what parents in Orion society feels will be popular when the child is grown. Well, I hope we're right.
It's a guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Non-Orion species, when selecting child's parents, often those styles may have been out of fashion for the originating species for centuries. I don't care. But, it's in fashion for the Orions. That's all that matters. Consider this imitation the highest form of flattery. The Alliance was much relieved when Orions chose to imitate humans and drop the Phentari phase. When we get to the Phentari later, you'll
understand why it's weird. And later on in this section, you will find out what they decided what they decided was fashionable.
Oh, we're right there now.
Humans, yeah.
The most invoked style today is the Scottish clansman look the Orions copied from ancient Earth.
William Wallace, that's it.
This is why Garth unplayed. A few Orion worlds exist where the populace has not undergone surgical alteration. Orions consider these backwater worlds. All right. Oh, actually, no, I want to read this. The utter repulsiveness of the true Orion face and body would instantly dissuade those that believed in coevolution with humans.
Yep.
All right. That's an important line.
Yes, it is.
Is anything else horribly important? They're omnivores, don't care. Wait a minute. They drink water but prefer alcohol. Prefer is probably not a strong enough descriptor.
Orions consume 65% of the total alcoholic beverage production of the Alliance. They took the Scottish thing pretty far.
They can be found in any urban environment. The seedier, the better. In the original games, they weren't just called Orions. They're called Orion Rogues.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. They would love every day to be a carnival, so they may appreciate the fleeting nature of life. This is your sex, drugs, and rock and roll species. I'm going to skip some of this, but that's what this is. If you're into body modification, if you're into drugs, I'm not saying you as a person, I'm talking like as a character, or if that's your thing, you want to role play something like that, then the Orion is about having fun. Let's have fun. Let's do this. Don't be a stick in the mud or whatever the cool thing to say is today. Any hip phrase, I'll run on top of it and probably bored of it. But the Orions have an interesting history. There was never much fighting, just trade wars and Ferengi. That's how I also consider them, Ferengi.
Yeah.
Just wars and blatant outright thievery from one another. Since joining the Alliance, the history has been that of peacemaker and deal broker with an emphasis on celebratory meetings, as in the first meeting with humans. To develop space travel. Oh, I had an echo there. Orions developed space travel in 2403 BC with the unlikely aid of the Phentari. Again, when we read about the Phentari, you may or may not accept that. Until meeting them, Orions had no interest in space as Taos 4.
What was that?
That's my cat going... I don't know. You can't see him because the screen's cut off. Otherwise, he'd be in the corner of the camera. But I think he almost fell out of his box. I don't know. The Orions had developed pop culture where everyone followed some sort of fashion, surgically altering themselves to match the latest look. The Phentari stumbled upon the Orions during a hunting expedition. The tricks the Orions played upon the hunting party, along with the Orions' natural, unaltered appearance, was enough to dissuade the Phentari from eating them. Again, important statement that we'll understand later.
Yes, they are hunters. They eat animals, but these things look so hideous that they were like, it's got to be poisonous. It's got to be bad. It's got to be a trick. It's got to kill me.
And when we get to the Phentari and talk about, they are just beings of guile, deceit, and hate. Their entire society is based on the concept of who, you're gullible and not the strongest, but the most devious. And the Orions were out devianted them. That's a word now. I'm making it up. Okay. It's on the internet, therefore it exists. So the Phentari found the Orions to be sneaky, crafty, and resourceful. So they became buds. All right. So these are obviously surgically altered Orions.
Yes.
The main thing about them is pretty similar to humans, although they can handle cold a little more. A lot better manual dexterity because of the 7 fingers.
Great piano players, I imagine.
Probably. They would only play whatever's in fashion, though.
Fair.
Same hit points. Look at those skill points. Almost humanoid. Yep. Pretty much human.
Cultural skills and behaviors, though. Level 3 survival urban, level 1 stealth, and level 1 pickpockets. That's like a minor thief, minor full-blown thief.
10% chance for it. So they're Japanese. 10% chance for an Orion to laugh in any dangerous situation. And heal without scarring, because why not? Okay, so yeah, Phentari, respect that, blah, blah, blah. It's just social organization. Orions are fashion divas, and they follow fads and fashions with almost religious zeal. All Orions judge the appeal of their latest look, I just said they, and clothing on cost. Orions deem the price as the single most important factor, so make sure you get bilked, and that means you have the best product ever. When purchasing cosmetic surgery, clothing, and even armor. Fashion booths and auto cosmetic surgery centers are on every corner. That's their Starbucks. Rich Orions have been known to change their looks and clothing every block. And out for a stroll.
Unbelievable. Plastic surgery, wardrobe changes basically throughout the day. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no. Dead Red Herring has a good one. Embodiment of thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Orions do not base their kinship on family relations. Kinship comes from the organization where they work. These fall into several categories: syndicate, gang, and forlorn. All right. Syndicates provide all the social institutions, include healthcare, policing, education, housing, transportation, infrastructure. Okay? Authority on Orion worlds flows from the syndicate in charge at the top and then down. It's all about profits. This is where the Ferengi side comes in, just no rules of acquisition. In fact, they're probably... What's the opposite of codified? Deviousness of acquisition. The largest syndicate... What's that?
Thunderdome business.
Yeah, Thunderdome. There you go. Anyway, you get that it starts with the syndicates. Down to the gangs. Orion gangs work for the syndicates. Each gang provides manpower for a specific syndicate. All gang members hope to one day accumulate enough wealth and prestige to be offered membership in one of the sponsoring syndicates. So they do the syndicates' dirty work. They're hitmen, collectors. They do, they move the items around, et cetera, et cetera. And usually led by the most cunning and insightful leader. Often they're disgraced former syndicate members. Gangs may display specialized skills such as bloodhounds, a retrieval group, or shifting sands, an illegal narcotic supplier. Okay. Orion gangs, and there's some history behind this, will allow other species within their ranks as long as they're not Eridani. And that's because the Phentari and Eridani have that blood feud, if you remember from last week, and the Orions are friends with the Phentari. There you go. Forlorn, those without a syndicate or gang affiliation are the forlorn. They have no social standing, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So values and attitude towards time. Enjoy it while we have it. Achievement. If I don't look good while doing it, what's the point? Work. I'll have fun doing it. Well, now the party can get started. Change. It comes as it will. Accept it. Scientific method. Huh? I'd rather play around. Risk taking. Ha! Life is to be lived. I'll take any risk to make me famous or infamous. Politics is syndicracy. Is that a word? Syndicracy? Syndocracy?
Syndocracy, yeah.
Yeah, that word.
No. Syndicracy?
I don't know. I haven't heard of it. I'm sure it is. It's just I haven't heard of it. So,
yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Each Orion world has multiple syndicates operating an economic council. All right. Blah, blah, blah. You can get it from there. Either you can pause and read the screen, or you can get the book. Just get the book. Phentari, are you ready to talk about the ugly guys?
Hang on.
Oh, another ugly guy?
Trying to find someone to somewhere to pronounce that.
No. Even if you were being facetious, even if you weren't being facetious, no, that's a very good, apt analogy for it.
Syndicracy. That's it.
Syndicracy. Okay.
Syndicracy. That's how you pronounce it.
Sounds weird.
It is.
It's just like the word magistracy. I hate that word. It's like it should be magistry or something. I don't know. Magistracy just has too many syllables in it.
Yep.
All right. Phentari. Phentari are hexapods. That means they have basically 6 arms, legs, whatever, with a total of 6 limbs. Well, there we go. That's kind of redundant, but whatever. They have 2 legs and 4 tentacles, which function as arms. Each leg ends in, I don't care what it ends in. We'll show you a picture of it in a moment. Each tentacle can operate independently of the others, which makes Phentari deadly in close combat. The tentacles are similar to those of an earth octopus, lacking the bone structure and primarily supported by cartilage. One caveat to that, which might read in a minute, I'm not sure. A tentacle by itself is pretty weak. As soon as there are 2 or more tentacles involved, it is really strong. They have little in the way of bone except for the spine. And the leg, even the legs and head are made up of cartilage, so they're sharks. Phentari knee joint is capable of bending in both directions, unlike a human knee, so they're gross. Phentari eyes are large and located on the side of their heads rather than the front. Although I think the art kind of doesn't promote that well. But anyway, eye color, don't care. This allows them to focus on 2 different targets as they operate each side of the body independently. While the ambidexterity is frightening, it is not the trait that instills the most fear when viewing a Phentari. The Phentari mouth is perhaps the most chilling feature. Just think the Predator. All right.
Gross. Okay.
Yeah. Tentacle. Oh, yeah. A single tentacle could not lift more than 2 kilograms. Once multiple tentacles seize an object, the ability to lift or carry is limited only by the strength stats. There we go. Diet. Phentari are carnivores that prefer meat alive and screaming.
Yeah, and screaming. This is the important part. And screaming. And the original form of the Orions was so hideous that
like,
these beings who eat animals alive and screaming wouldn't touch them. That's how gross that an Orion actually is.
While there is documented proof of Phentari actually eating humans and describing it as tasty, the fact is it's clearly a crime under Alliance law. It happens far less than the Phentari admit, but they enjoy taunting humans with the threat of being eaten alive. There is a legal trade in Phent morsels, which is made from legally obtained but recently deceased human remains. It's made of people. The raw materials for Phent morsels can only be obtained on planets where the laws do not prohibit recycling of the recently deceased. All right, we don't need to go into that more, but let's see. Phentari prefer temperatures between negative 132 Celsius and negative 73 Celsius, very much like the Eridani. Remember, they have a blood feud between each other, but they live on very similar worlds, which could also explain.
Makes sense because they would be competing for resources.
Right. And if you remember, the Eridani are very honorable, Bushido code, Paladin-esque, depending on how you want to look at it. The Phentari are like...
And they both breathe methane too, right?
They both breathe methane, yep.
Yep.
For temperatures above or below, the Phentari must wear environmental suit. Phentari require atmosphere of 18 to 22% methane concentration. This rules out most environments.
This is in playing this game. This is the biggest problem that I see, is that a lot of these species, not a lot, but some of them have vastly different habitable.
But your armor makes up for that.
Your armor covers it, but. Man, if I would make them role play the burden of that, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, it'd be fun if the armor actually was pierced more. That's one of the things that happened in the past is I didn't see a lot of people dying to this stuff because the armor very rarely...
Your atmosphere is leaking out, bad stuff's leaking in, you're going to die in a minute.
Right? They're in constant struggle to find worlds hospitable for themselves before the Eridani who have similar requirements. History. The Phentari are the only species known to successfully operate under a cratocracy. Okay, another word I hadn't heard of before for this game. The government is run by those capable of seizing power through coercion, social persuasion, or deceptive cunning. I cannot wrap my brain around how that could possibly work, because everybody, I mean, it just seems to me that the government would change every day.
Kill captain, gain rank.
Kill captain, gain rank. Kill captain in an interesting, funny way, gain more rank. I mean, like, if they're strong and cunning enough to maintain the status, they deserve it. This form of government was instituted by Phalanasarius Phentari I. Now, all the rulers are called Phalanasarius Phentari. And it's because the quick version is, or the simplified version is, what would happen if somebody didn't use the name? They know it's not the same person, but by using the name, at least they're like, all right, that person's got a little bit of respect. All right. Because it was just Bob the Phentari, somebody would undermine him immediately.
Right. And it's cratocracy.
Oh, cratocracy. Okay.
Yes. From Kratos, meaning strength or might.
There you go. See, look at you looking up. We're getting an English lesson today. That's awesome. Phalanasarius managed to live a long, full life, and most current Phentari carry his genes. As the other leading members of the domain fell to Phentari intrigue, he was the strong stability that Phentari needed to solidify its form of government. All right, blah, blah, blah. You get what they're about, right?
Yeah.
The Phentari experienced a great deal of conflict with other species. You think?
No, that's what they do.
I know, right? They sow the dissent, right? After hunting many low-tech intelligent life forms to extinction, the Phentari happened upon the Orions. The Orions' mimicry of Phentari greatness. Okay. And the con artist like nature allowed the species to coexist and even trade. You fuck me, I fuck. It's not, fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, or you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's you fuck me over, I fuck you over, win-win.
Yeah.
And I just cussed again.
Yeah, again, twice.
I need it. Does this button work? Working? You hear the beep?
Yeah, it works.
Okay. I'm going to have to actually demonetize the video. Anyway, after a time, Phentari graciously, no, they don't do anything graciously, but whatever, gave the Orions the secret of space travel and allowed them to settle worlds within Phentari-controlled system, obviously because they live on completely different type of worlds.
Right, so it doesn't matter, you know? Yeah. I mean, a lot of them look like Phentari in this. They made their children look like Phentari, but they still don't have the environmental requirements that Phentari have. It's just cosmetic.
The quick version of the next part is that the Eridani came romping through and pissed off the Orions and the Phentari. The Phentari and Orions went to war against Eridani and almost wiped them out to the last, until the Mutzachans came in and said, whoa, hold up. We need you guys. We need all you. Alliance, so forth.
There's spiders coming.
Yeah, there's spiders coming, right? Social organization. Phentari are narcissists to the highest order. Are they, though? I don't know. I think the Orions might be more narcissistic.
Yeah.
They will lie, cheat, and swindle in any way possible to gain what they wish. We still haven't seen a picture of these guys, have we?
No, we haven't. It's on the next page. Yeah, there it is. You were not wrong. Invoking Predator a little bit.
You got the tentacle arms. There you go. Yeah, that's a Phentari. And this thing thought the Orion were ugly.
Yeah. So ugly, don't eat them.
Yeah, look at those teeth. And it said gross. All right. So anyway, the Phentari clubs include other common Phentari clubs include target shooting, tentacle fighting, and ice climbing. So they go on hunts, kind of like the Predator thing. Communication, the Phentari spoken language, a low decibel series of sounds which travel over great distances, probably due to the foggy tree swamps at homeworld. Who cares? Again, you can read that stuff and learn about that if you play the game. Values and attitude towards time. Patience. I will show my superiors to be fools and rise to take their place. Achievement. What else can you expect? My greatness is out there for all to see now. Work. My plans will come to fruition. They cannot do otherwise. It's Mr. Burns here. It's excellent. Wealth. It will come as my power grows. Change. Chaos can only benefit those prepared to take advantage and show their greatness. Scientific method. I'll use anything to further my own goals. And risk-taking. All life is a risk. Planning, forethought, and escape routes will keep you from losing yours. Phentari aren't dangerous unless they get behind. All right. Phentari are thoroughly convinced of their own superiority. A band together to defend space and sovereignty with ruthless precision and cunning. And here are the stats. So let's compare them to some others. So their average height is pretty much humanoid, humanish. Weight, maybe a touch higher, but about humanish. Live about 150 years, so they live a little longer than humans. Pretty decent.
I don't know about humans with the high-tech stuff in the future. I mean, they could live to 200.
I thought it said humans were 125. Yeah, you can scroll, look it up.
I'll scroll up and look it up. You go ahead.
Strength is just a touch lower than average, but manual dexterity is 25. Again, they've got tentacles that, don't, I mean, it's just all flopping around there. Aggression, 20. So the main thing about the Phentari and the Eridani is the Eridani are great with melee weapons and strength and combat. The Phentari are great with the weaponry, the accuracy, and of course, we know with low constitution, they can't take as many hits, but they've got the cunningness and the guile to back it up.
Yeah, but no one likes them because they got minus 35 to charisma.
Right? And an aggression of plus 20.
Yeah, which is worse than that. And you were right; it's 120 for humans.
Okay. Starting skill points and run. I mean, they're pretty quick. Vision. Level 3 climbing skill, plus 20 climbing checks. Regeneration of lost tested tentacles. Can engage 2 targets. What's that?
You said test the tentacles.
I know. Can engage 2 targets simultaneously without penalty. Didn't they used to have penalty before for engaging 2 targets? Like they could do it, but I could be wrong. Must wear. Oh, maybe it's more than 2 attacks. They started to get they couldn't do 4. I don't. Anyway, must wear atmospheric processors. A single tentacle cannot live more than 2 kilograms, and take 2 additional languages at level 5.
Why do you want to talk to your food? I don't understand. Okay, whatever.
All right. Phentari politics is all about perceived power. Each position has absolute power over those below. So if you're here, you're in charge. If you're here, you're a slave. If you're here, but there's a here, you're still a slave to here, but you're absolutely in charge of that person.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, all right. You ready for the Pythonians? We're getting close to the end here because Pythonians, there are 2 species of Pythonians.
Okay.
And then we have the Pythonians and the Zen, the Rigelns, and then we're done, right? Or is there one that I'm missing? Oh, no, the Raazet.
There's 2 species of Rigelns now, I think.
Well, there always were. So, because we have our guest waiting here. Sheris, I'm sorry, this is 7th edition. There are no more Ram Pythons.
No, I'm just Python. Sorry.
Pythonians.
Pythonians.
Not even Pythons anymore.
No, they're not even Pythons anymore. They're Pythonians. Because,
I don't know. There are 2 varieties of Pythonians, and that's just so hard for me to say. The larger terrestrial type referred to as ram pythons because that's somehow Pythonian. Wouldn't it be Pythonsians or Pythonsians or?
No, I'm going to go with Pythonian.
Then it shouldn't be pythons. It should be python. Whatever. Okay, referred to as ram pythons, and the smaller but smarter aquatic variety called python lizard, which we never had one.
No,
I've never played in a game. I played in a game with plenty of rams, but never with any python lizards. Often referred to as python lizards are large humanoid-shaped reptile-like species. They have 2 arms, 2 legs, and a tail. So here are your lizard men.
Yeah.
All right, we can scroll down now. The terms of physical differences between the 2: the ram is usually bigger and stronger. The ram's digits are wider and thicker than the python lizard.
Fingers.
Sausage fingers, yes. Also, the ram looks a little more humanoid in the face. A little more. Not exactly human, but humanoid, where the python lizard is more elongated alligator face.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. The ram the snout is much shorter, blah, blah, blah. Pythonian coloration varies. Well, they don't change color like the keen. The hide does take the dominant coloration of the surroundings. All right. Sense vibrations through the ground and use this ability to track and locate prey. As both species are quite large and heavy, they can make a lot of noise when they're not trying to be quiet. This ability no doubt came in quite handy during the Python Wars early in the history. Python hearing can make an observation check using their hearing modifier to locate anything moving across the ground.
It's not as good as the blob people, because it's only 50 meters rather than 100 meters. But it's still pretty useful, especially because they don't have the reduced eyesight penalty.
This ability doesn't work while wearing armor, unless it's equipped with tactile response armor option.
which is probably going to be 50% more expensive.
Pythonians are carnivores. If it's made of meat, they'll eat it. Fresh or salt water. What? What's that?
Probably, except for original looking Orions. Probably.
I don't know. To see, the Phentari are smarter than Pythons.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
a Python will a Python will do it on a dare.
Okay, fine. So, they consider it their version of the cinnamon challenge.
There you go. Oh yeah. Both may require vegetation. Pod. What's that? Oh, gross. The Orion pod. Pythos is an interesting world. Temperature is fairly constant with only small bands of ice and snow at either. Who cares? Good information for the book, but for our show here, we've lost a crap ton of viewers.
They're basically normal ranges, except they can be comfortable and probably a little bit hotter because their world ranges from 0 to 40 degrees, and 40 degrees is way too hot for humans.
Have you ever lived in Kuwait? Pythonians have always been at war. When rams and python lizards were not fighting each other, the rams fought other ram tribes. This wanton destruction eliminated all but their simple verbal history. Even since joining the alliance, no less than 3 civil wars have been fought to determine who rules Pythos. Currently, it's the rams. This caused some bitterness among python lizards, as it was the rams that started the Pythonian-Scissorak War and almost ended the species. And I'm not going to get into the Pythonian-Scissorak War based on this book, because this book changed the start and the end of it.
Okay. Which
is upsetting to me. It's just, again, subtle changes that has nothing to do with gameplay, but see, the python lizards, however, managed a stalemate with ambush-style hit-and-run tactics from the water. Over time, managed to steal and use Scissorak weapons. After driving the Scissorak back, so how they actually beat the Scissorak was using the cat physiology against it, and that just annoys me. It doesn't mention it here. Also, they changed the meeting as to what happened between the first Scissorak encounter with the rams, how the death happened. Anyway, all right. So this is a python lizard. By the way, I know I've skipped a lot. Here's the deal with the rams and the python lizards and the ram python, the Pythonians. If you want to play the dumb brute, it really just depends on how dumb you want to be and if you want to be able to swim really well. There you go. I mean, the ram pythons have an item called a thwack'em stick. It's a big baseball bat with a speed indicator on it. And when he smacks you and does maximum damage, it gives a readout of how hard he hit you. You got knocked the F out, So they live 200 years. Life expectancy of 200 years. I want to know how they determine that, because I don't think many make it that long. They just die from fighting all the time. Plus 30 strength, plus 50 con. Wait, this is python lizards. Okay.
Yeah.
So as I say, I thought it's a little stronger than that. IQ, not incredibly stupid. So don't rule them out. Lots of body points, 12 plus a D12.
Yeah. They are definitely, they're the weaker of the two species, but they're definitely not weak.
Can't see crap, but they can hear and smell. Threshold rating 2. That's basically like an armor rating of 2.
Yeah, natural armor rating.
Yep. Level 8 swimming. That's what I was saying before. Do you want to be able to swim or whatever? I'm not going to read all of these. You can see a 2 times strength modifier actually is a little bit important. When doing unarmed combat melee attacks, whatever your normal damage would be, double it. Don't get punched by one.
No.
Ram pythons. Here we go. These are the bigger ones.
Stronger, but less con.
Really? Less con? Oh, yeah, less con. I never realized that.
It's like it switched. They just switched it.
Oh, yeah, I actually didn't realize that. I wonder if it was like that before. I don't know. Maybe Sharers can tell us. Aggression of 30. So they like to fight things. Yeah. IQ is, it's IQ and in was it intellect? Whatever that is. Intuition. A little lower. Why study when you can punch things? 16 plus a D12. Level 2 climbing, so these jokers climb where the other ones swim. Yeah. Infravision.
I think they can see a little. Yeah, they can see a little better too.
So fumble fingered and poor eyesight. Level 3 stealth. Yeah. How?
Look at this guy. It's a Gorn. It's a freaking Gorn. Gorn don't have stealth. It doesn't make any damn sense.
Well, it did talk about the skin shifting to the environment and so forth. But yeah.
Whatever. Doesn't make sense.
All right. Upon joining the Alliance, Pythonians took on the role of frontline warriors and security forces. You think?
No kidding.
The bravery on the battlefield is unquestioned, even by the Siserac and Eridani. The Rams in particular have been inducted. The Rams in particular have been inducted into the Legion of Honor more than any other species. At some point, you have to say, "Well, that's just being a Ram. I don't know if that really warrants you getting in there." Now, a Mutzacan who did that.
That'd be something.
It is often posthumously. At least 124 Rams and 45 Python lizards have earned the distinction. Social organization. They're not overly social. Grouped together for mating and hunting, but often prefer solitude. I don't want to witness that. They do not understand bonds of kinship and hold no fondness for genetic relations. Okay. They do form loose tribes of like-minded individuals. Authority relies upon a python lizard's voluntarily following orders Authority relies upon a python lizard voluntarily following orders as a battle with even the smallest of its kind can cause significant injury. So, listen to me. No. Listen to me. No. We're going to have to fight here soon. Respect, self-control, and dignity are to be afforded to one other. Why am I having such a hard time reading this? Respect, self-control, and dignity are to be afforded to one other, since disagreements can end in mauling or death. They're like, when antelope go after each other or bears.
Yeah, there's a point where one of them backs down because he knows he's going to lose, and that's preferable to actually losing because that means you get your head crushed.
So it talks about how they act within the Alliance and so forth. There's one last thing I want to go into. Occasionally, females, the strongest leader of the tribe, tend to have short attention spans. Don't care. Where is the farting? Pythonians are polytheistic, multiple gods. They don't pray, believe gods gave tools to their job. Strength is a repeated theme in Ram Python rituals. Okay, so it does talk about the thwackum stick. Okay. Then there's one item they consider sacred, the thwackum stick. Thwackum stick is an incredibly large and dense wood equivalent pole that Pythons use as a weapon. It's also used in ritual tests of strength and toughness. During the ritual, the Pythonians take turns smacking each other over the head. Well, that explains some of the IQ with this incredibly dense pole. Test lasts until the thwackum stick breaks or only one Pythonian is standing. Strongest and toughest wins the game. Python lizards do not like to compete in these tests with rams. Well, yeah. But the thing is, at least in the original version, it has a meter on it that says how hard you got clunked. Devoted Pythonians have several rituals which are of the utmost importance. The Trat, which is a rain dance, Slasses, the mudslide, and the Chunga, flatulence. Trat is usually celebrated by python lizards and desert-dwelling rams who pray to the rain god. Thun is a joyous dance that occurs when it rains. The dance begins, I don't care. Slasses occurs near hot springs, rivers, and oceans. The Pythonians will dig a large, steep trench and carry huge buckets of water to the top unless they have alliance pumps. Water flows down, blah, 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 blah. And they slide down it. They just make their own slip and slides. Lastly, Chunga is celebrated primarily by the Rams, pays tribute to the volcano god Hurg, who is believed to be the source of every warrior's power and spirit. To do battle without paying tribute to Hurg is deepest insult. Hurg has been known to throw boulders and fire from his volcanic home to kill disrespectful Pythonians. To properly Chunga, a ram must flatulate near an open flame. If there's fire, Hurg is pleased. If not, the ram must redouble his efforts. Knowing this, ram often eats food they know will provide them with plenty of gas before a fight.
See, the problem that I read with that is they must redouble their efforts. That means that there's a chance for sharding.
I agree. Unfortunately, the sulfur content in a python's gas is enough to make most other species ill. Okay, they kept some of the slapstick in there. All right, python lizards, values and attitudes. So of the lizards, these are the swimmers, a little bit smarter ones. Time. Patience brings success in all things. Achievement. Success is expected in time. Work. I take my responsibility seriously and personally. Do not insult it. Change. Chaos is the essence of life. Embrace it. Scientific method. Interesting things this has taught us. Risk-taking. Life is full of risk. Take the sensible ones. So the Pythonian lizards, again, they only have a -10 IQ. It's not like they're freaking retarded. Ram pythons. Why worry about future? I live for now. Achievement. I wear my success on my chest. Work. Do I have to? Change. Don't like it. Unless it's a bigger gun or better armor. Scientific method. Huh? Risk-taking. Bring it on.
See, now that I don't think this is a good representation, because the lizards aren't that much smarter than the rams, and the lizards aren't smart compared to other races. So
I think it was to show the dichotomy between the two.
Okay, well, it's a little too big.
Yeah, I
yeah.
Okay. All right, so politics, follow clan-like structure, determine leadership based on who's the strongest and control the most territory and people. Clams often, fight. I mean, there we go. All right, two races left. The Raazet. This is a new one. This was not in the previous edition of the game. If it was in one of the other books, I'm not aware of it. It might even be in one I have, but
some kind of supplement somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Raazet are humanoid-shaped insectoid species. 4 limbs and a set of insectoid wings. We will show a picture of this later. They actually have the 3 insect body parts: head, thorax, abdomen. Okay. They can fly upside down. They have no external nose and ears. Yeah, it's segmented: head, thorax, abdomen. All right. Diet: capable of digesting virtually any organic matter or fluid. They can eat cellulose, wood, paper, meat, vegetation,
even hydrocarbons, gasoline and kerosene. Nice.
Eat their dead and not shy about eating.
Yeah, they're carrion eaters, so they eat dead things. Yeah.
They eat their own dead.
Okay.
Not shy about eating the corpse of other species. Be wary of a Raazet, I forget, drinking motor oil. It makes them drunk.
Good to know.
Whatever. Indigenous to a planet called Klazet. Currently one of the most hostile life-bearing planets in the galaxy, from temperature extremes, large aggressive predators, to very short growing seasons. Extreme conditions and lack of natural resources slowed the Raazet development of space travel. They eat your dead after they kill them. Yeah, unlike the Phentari.
Yeah.
Eat your dead while killing them. Eventually, this mindset would turn into religious-like devotion. Blah blah blah. I'm sorry. Raazet have always excelled at making. Oh, did I skip a part? The slowed Raazet development of space travel. Raazet have always excelled at making the best of the limited resources that were available, and are unmatched in their ability to recycle and improvise new uses for existing materials and devices. These are your consummate survivalists with literally no emotion.
Right. They grew up on a planet that had crap. It was a garbage planet. Every little bit of metal, every little bit of wood was treasured because you could go miles without finding another one.
Right.
So yeah, they and now it's just bred into them now. Conservation.
During the early development of Raazet space program, an unknown alien species invaded the Raazet solar system and attempted to wipe out the species. Defeated the aliens, however, they're nuked. And it caused disastrous environmental changes, which made...
It was already bad.
Right?
It was already bad. Now it's worse.
Yes, and they will not let other aliens to the homeworld.
No. Well, I wouldn't either. That was a bad introduction.
And they're fully xenophobic and have no trust of aliens.
Okay, see, I would like to know which alien species actually attacked him. Was it a PC player race? I'd like to know that.
I think it would have mentioned that if it was. So I think it's just an unknown. Make it up as you want, Mr. GM. So, okay. Raazet history has few defining moments. Wars, social appeals that occur. Blah blah blah. It's a hostile world. We're testing phase of faster-like technology when the aliens came. So yeah, it just says unknown alien. So it wasn't one of the PC races. Okay. At this time, the great Zips made his mark on Raazet culture. Zips had already proven himself to be one of the few Raazet recreations. Recreation. The great Zips made his Zips. One of the few endurance racing. Oh, had proven himself in one of the few Raazet recreations. So I was reading it wrong. Got it. Endurance racing. All right. This exceptional mechanic and pilot volunteered to serve when the aliens attacked, and he did a bunch of heroic crap and stopped the aliens. Okay.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be coy here, part of my thing here, or just go like, oh, this race sucks. This segment is taking way longer than it should have, and honestly, we want to show you the race and so forth. He did heroic stuff, and you can get the book. I suggest you buy 7th edition if you're liking what we're talking about. Raazet are pragmatic to an extreme. That extreme word can't be overstated. They're generally quite content with merely surviving and living without fear. For 280 years, they maintain a militaristic isolationism due to near genocide at the hands of unknown alien invaders. At that time and since, the Raazet share kinship, even more so than when Emperor Shas conquered the entire planet and implemented the communal egg system. Blah, blah, blah. Here's what your bug people look like.
Yeah. Personally, if I were an alien species and bugs came around, I would just kill them. You can't trust a bug. You can't
trust a bug. And bugs are gross.
They think dramatically differently than all other life, and it's usually bad. So just kill them.
Well, Mahakman says this feels like a setting much like Star Trek where you can make them new aliens whenever you like. Sure. I mean, that's one of the advantages of playing sci-fi over some of the other genres, is it? I mean, and really you can make a race for any genre, any time, for any reason. But yeah, it's science fiction. Oh, we need a new race. Let's expand out a little farther. Oh, look, Cardassians, Anyway, my name's Squits. Thank you. So obviously they can fly, but they can only fly for short periods. I think that's a trope like many games use. Earth Dawn uses it with the Windlings. TMNT uses it for a lot of the flight mechanisms.
Right.
I don't know if D&D 5th edition uses it for their stupid flying race or not. But it's pretty much a game trope to say, hey, you just can't fly wherever you want. There are limitations to what you can do.
But if you look at their ECRs, they got themselves a pretty good resistance to radiation.
Yeah, fair. Chemical, even better.
Getting your planet nuked will do that to you.
Yeah, they have a threshold rating of 3, natural chitin.
But better than the Rams.
Yeah. Bumblebee-like flight for up to 3 minutes. Resistant to chemical, biological, radiation, sensory attacks, level 2 flying skill. No liabilities. Because why? Why have a liability? You know what the liability is? You don't like anybody else. You don't trust anybody else. You'll eat everybody else. And if it's scary, you're not going to go out there. I could get killed. I'm not saving him. But we need you to help. I could get killed. I'm not saving him. Go get another one later. You don't want to rely on this person as your medic. No.
You do want to rely on him as the getaway driver. No, you don't. Because
he'll get away before you're done.
He's going to leave without you. Okay.
You want to rely on him for finding food.
There you go. That's the food that he can eat. Hopefully I can eat the same. But he's a bug. We probably don't eat the same things. No, just kill him. I'm back to kill him. Kill them all. Back to kill them all.
All right. Raazet places great value on learning institution scientific growth. The military and governmental service of these scientific growth is the most prestigious. Only the smartest, most skilled individuals are burdened with keeping the Raazet population. How do you pronounce these fools? Raazet. Okay. Raazet. Often sent off-world by the government and employed as engineers, repair techs, computer techs, or mechanics throughout the Alliance. Part of this push of skilled workers off-world is to provide the Raazet with ample scavenging opportunities, possibly acquiring new technology and the chance for exploration. However, Raazet xenophobia.
That's it. A mechanic. That's the only job. Make sure he can't fly the vehicle you're in. So it's in his best interest to keep it in good working order. And he can MacGyver shit like nobody's business.
And keep him away from your FOT.
Oh, fuck the FOT.
Well, the FOT's your other mechanic. However, Raazet xenophobia and deep-seated survival instincts leave Raazet with little empathy for other living beings. If you have Raazet on your team, don't expect him to save you if you're in dire need, unless it's in his own best interest.
Yeah, like if you're the pilot.
Mortally wounded or dead. Let's just skip the dead. You're just mortally wounded. Help me, mama! Mama, help me! Are often stripped of their useful gear and cut up into jerky before the bodies are cold.
Wow.
If no one but the Phentari is looking... The Phentari's looking at the Raazet going,
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Values and attitude towards time. There's never enough to complete all my work. Achievement. The greatest achievement is lasting improvement. Work is life. Well, useful for new technology. Change. Everything does, so do we. Scientific method. It is great for breaking and fixing stuff, is it? Risk-taking. Life is a risk. Live it. I don't like this risk-taking one. I felt it should have said, life is a risk. Let someone else risk it or something like that.
Let someone else go first.
Right? Yeah. So, education, politics, fiercely loyal to species, and extremely xenophobic. Oh, thought we lost you. So, Each household has a planet voting machine. I don't care. Again, it's not that it's bad information, but for this stream, it doesn't matter. All right. Last race. One more that's broken up into two, sort of, though. We're going to talk about the Zen Rigelans. Zazen are the naughty ones. The Zen Rigelans are the good ones. Zen are tall, gaunt, pale-skinned humanoids. Their arms and legs are spindly with hands and feet at the end. Each appendage has 5 fingers or toes. Its head is slightly more egg-shaped than humans. We'll show a picture in just a moment. Anyway, they're not quite. They don't have the necks, but they kind of remind me of what were those people in Attack of the Clones? The cloners.
The Pheno.
I can't think. Yeah.
Damn it. I can't remember either. But yeah. Okay.
When you look at them, they're not them. The Kaminoans or whatever. It's they're not the Kaminoans. I know, but I'm just saying they kind of remind me of that. The Zen's Grim Reaper-like appearance is further enhanced by its smell. The odor it produces. Notice it. It is the proper pronoun, by the way. The odor it produces smells something long dead in a dry, musty sort of way. Furthermore, humans often compare the Zen voice to slow, cold wind whispering through a pile of autumn leaves.
Okay, that's super creepy. You're talking to a mummy.
Yes, basically. It's a hollow. Yes, it's absolutely hollow. Yeah. So diet, Zen are vegan and drink liquid water. Zen are so concerned that they do no harm during eating that they have gone so far as to remove any genetic possibility of sentience, pain, or communication from their vegetable food sources.
They make sure the plants can't actually think before they eat them.
Yes. This food source is offered alliance-wide and even comes in meat flavors for the carnivores.
Great. We got crappy tofu in the future, too.
Well, these are tofu, peaceneck, hippie monsters race, whatever, species. The Zazen are the absolute pinnacle of extremist pacifists. I can't say that enough. Zen Rigeln will not fight. End of story. But to save his own life. End of story. Zen Rigeln will not fight. The Zen had one of the most violent and destructive histories in the Alliance. Okay. Until Sarek came in and said, Aziza put on a different path when the Zen started spiritual revolution in 2720 BC. This word spread like a virus, so that, listen, blah, blah, blah. All life is precious and should be cherished. So, they're not as rational as, say, the Mutzachans, but by any means, but absolutely, they're the hippie of the hippies. There you go. There's your dead money.
I'm going to say monk.
Okay.
Oh, wait. You know what? Anyone who's ever seen the Golden Child? Remember that movie?
I didn't see it.
Okay, well, there's this little monk kid who can only eat plants and stuff like that, and he under no circumstance will he hurt anyone because reasons. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
Buddhist monks, basically.
So these jokers are pretty tall.
Yeah.
And they live about 400 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah. Stats.
True democracy. Oh my God, the worst form of government ever.
Oh, but because they're all hive-minded?
Then it doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's a true democracy with a race that is so... They're not culturally hive-minded. Oh, we'll get to that because that is something that really does express who they are.
Okay.
You'll see there's 2 stats here for aggression. This is Zen Rigeln. This is Zazen Rigeln. 7th edition pissed me off with how they changed the Zen Rigelns to the Zazen Rigelns. Zazen Rigelns used to be evil. Pretty much end of story. Like, you could fudge it a little bit, but evil. Vast majority were evil. Now they're just free-minded. But still hunted down the same. But they're free-minded. They're libertarians. Because what people wanted to play them more makes no sense. It's this homogenization that RPGs do in the modern world now where everything isn't so black and white. Yes, some things can be black and white. Anyway, And it's funny because I was saying the Ch'tillians don't have to have their crystals anymore, and the Mutzachans don't have to wear their robes anymore, but these fools still have to wear their stripes. I don't get it. Anyway. So look at the stats. They're not strong, not really agile. They don't need to be. This is why I said they kind of remind me of the Chimonians, whatever the hell they're called. They're just so long and gainly. Look like little spider children. High charismas. I don't know how, if they smell like freaking death.
Like, moldy old death. Yeah.
Maybe that's what prevents them from having a 50. Or something. But yeah, skill points. You can see body points. So vision, hearing, matrix control. So this is your third matrix controller. They have learned the ability to heal. They can regrow limbs. They could actually, if you're so much as a brain, as long as your gray matter isn't splattered, you can come back. As long as you have a Zen Rigeln. So.
It's not good for much else, but there you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely not good for anything else. This ongoing effort eventually led to Zen transitioning to a direct democracy. Since that time, most Zen Rigeln have embraced Aziza's tenets and enjoyed a lasting peace. Those few Zen who disagreed with the teachings of Aziza or who were unable to comply with his tenets were ostracized. Any aberration from total pacifism, total, that should be capitalized, asterisk, starred, boldface, underlined, colored, whatever, total pacifism. I can't express it enough. If you read this, there is literally no other option than total pacifism is termed zazen. This not only includes actual violence, but even advocating anything less than absolute pacifism might be beneficial in some way. Thus, one can be branded as za simply for a belief and lumped in with psychopaths and sociopaths who are incapable of complying with the tenets of Aziza. Again, this is the change.
Yep.
Most za are labeled as so simply because they follow individual beliefs instead of dogmatic beliefs of Rigeln. The Zen are quick to push the stereotype that all za are crazed maniacs. Again, this is the change from previous editions. It doesn't change the game. It just irks people like me that are purists. Okay. Rigeln leaders do not tolerate dissent. So your democracy, whatever. Za are actively hunted and placed into re-education. So in 2224 BC, entered Age of Prosperity. Let's see, the matrices had not located life outside the planet, so it's a point. Okay, so hold on. Surprisingly, they never contemplated development of space travel because they're like, why? We didn't detect anything out there. Reluctantly agreed to join the alliance with the goal of bringing the wisdom of Aziza to the stars. So great, now you've got somebody preaching the good word. Healing all and ensuring the well-being of all living things is seen as a moral imperative by the ruling Zen Rigeln. To heal the universe is their destiny. However, the shock of
Mormons.
I would rather deal with Mormons. The shock of meeting intelligent life from another planet caused a new schism within the Zen belief system. Okay, we're not going to go into all their history here, but just know that they've got magic and the ability to heal people. Zen developed cryo. So let me actually start with this sentence because this is important for playing the game. This has led to Alliance Military Regulation 8-8-61 Bravo-2, or as the grunts call it, the Save the Head Initiative. Zen developed cryogenic injections on the battlefield are used along with hat boxes to keep the brain intact until Rigeln can place it in a new body. Millions of Alliance military personnel are alive today due to Zen technology.
Nice. A hat box.
Yeah, preach to me all day, baby. You smell like death, but damn it. Zen Rigeln feel a family of utmost importance. Love, however, is secondary to social responsibility and duty. Duty is to raise the child to successfully integrate into society. Beautiful. Doesn't matter about the direct society when they're already hive-minded, or the direct democracy when they're already hive-minded. Okay. Enjoy voting. I don't know why.
Each vote improves their social standing. That's why.
Oh, social currency, yeah.
Oh, vote histories are public. So if you vote unpopularly, you'll lose standing. That's nice.
If the Zen is a trained matrix controller, Power level is the middle stripe below the job function. That goes to the stripe thing.
Yeah,
so
they need their stripes as their
their
badges, basically.
Species guide. Zazen are required to wear all black. So is this a Zazen?
He's wearing
gray.
Gray
And black. Well, I didn't want to read all that. The lowest stripe represents the amount of time you voted with the majority. Light orange represents lower consistent vote. Yeah, your voting is on your stripes as well. Zazen lose the right to vote. However, Zazen often hide themselves. Blah blah blah. Okay. Occasionally, Za will group together, but most eventually flee to line space. Za and a line space sometimes wear the 4 grays. Okay, so that is a Zazen in that picture. Okay. Both as a warning to others that they are not to be trifled with. See, in the original version, or the original edition, the previous edition of the game, Zazen got literally anti-healing powers. So where the Zen Rigeln could heal and regenerate, the Zazen, whatever that was, flip it. Harmed, degenerate, or calcify, whatever. You know, they had all these weird, gross abilities, kind of like Nethermancers from Earthdawn. We already talked about the religion of pacifism. So let's see what the attitudes are so that we can get our guest in here and we can talk about segment 2. I'm waiting very patiently here. Time, fleeting. It ends with death. We must move past it. How do you move past death? Or do we move past time? I don't know.
Hey, you know what? They can heal someone from a brain, all right? So that's moving past death.
Achievement. I have saved a life. There can be no greater reward. Work, it gives our life meaning. Well, it should be used for the good of all. Change. Chaos is natural, but can be contained. Scientific method. It has taught us much about life and how to heal it. Risk-taking. To save a life, any risk is acceptable. Yeah, unlike the Raazet, who won't, unless it's in his best interest, the Zen will actually save the life of your enemy that you just shot and risk his own life doing it. You might have to shoot your Zen in the knee a couple times. He'll heal it. He'll be okay.
And he won't be pissed.
Yeah, well, he might be, but we'll get over it. Zazen. Time. I'm here for now. Achievement. It is mine alone. Work. It's what we do to hide, escape, or live. Wealth. I'll take it. Now let's get off this rock. Change. The Rigeln never will. Scientific method. If it works, I'll use it. Risk-taking. Reward is great enough, I'll do it. And there you go. You can talk about the heals. We will talk about matrices just a little bit, but you know, it got politics. I'm seeing things pop up here. Oh, it looks like just
Mark Huckman says, how do they win wars? They don't. They don't. I mean, can you call it a war if the other side won't fight at all?
After Sarek brought them the good book, they didn't have any more wars.
Yeah. That's it. There was no war. There was probably occupations, but no.
Internal society has been great.
Yeah,
I'm getting low bandwidth hits from StreamYard's telling me low bandwidth.
Oh no.
All right. So matrices, Zen Rigeln are known throughout the Alliance as healers. This reputation isn't entirely due to their medical technology. Zen are matrix controllers and possess similar abilities to the Mutzachans and Chitilians. Zen can't manipulate raw energy or physically assault someone, but they do possess the ability to manipulate organic tissue and cell structure. Zen use this unique ability to heal, reform, or mutate the bodies and tissues of those upon whom they focus. This exceptional
wang.
I want a bigger way. If you're an Orion, there you go.
Yeah.
Ron Jeremy, me, baby. This exceptional talent makes Zen in high demand in hospitals across the Alliance. They're also paid exceptionally well to become field medics in Alliance Galactic Forces. Not every Zen is up for the rigors, both physical and mental, that go along with real combat, but those that are find generous compensation packages awaiting them upon enlistment. Experienced Zen matrix controllers are capable of regenerating lost limbs by combat personnel, curing disease, and even cloning someone whose body is beyond repair. They are incapable of transferring memories from the original body to the clone. Oh, they can facilitate a brain transplant. Hatboxes.
Oh, there you go. Problem solved.
In contrast, the Zazen possess no less impressive powers, but when used for nefarious purposes, they become some of the more feared and terrifying weapons in the Alliance. I specified the word when used for nefarious purposes because previous edition, that was the only option.
Nefarious. Yeah.
Za can liquefy tissue with a touch, disembowel the victims with a thought, paralyze, cause sickness, and deform. Nethermancers. It's no wonder that all Za are met with suspicion and caution, given the capability of most truly malicious individuals.
The Zazen shrank my wing.
There you go. I've got whiskey dick because of the Zazen. It wasn't the pool, it was the Zazen.
It was the Zazen that did it.
All right. There you go.
It.
I'm gonna put that is it. That is the races. Now, I actually thought today was going to be short. I didn't think it was going to be an hour and 45 minutes of just the races, but okay. It is what it is. We like the Mutzachans and the Mazians too much, I think. So next week is going to be character generation. Now, we're not going to create a character. We're just going to go through it. And that's pretty quick. And we're going to talk, and then we're going to move into the skill list where we'll talk about what skill did we mention a few times today?
The Matrix.
The Mazians.
No. That was the
shapeshifting.
The shapeshifter. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a page and a half. Yeah.
Yep. So we're not going to go over every skill. We're just going to kind of mention how they're used and so on and so forth. So next week is going to be character generation. Now that we know the races, see how you put one together. We'll talk about the fickle finger of fate and neato tables like that, and get into what other nonsense. The skill nonsense. So hopefully Heathen Dog has read up how to roll skills in this game because I don't have a clue.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I've read it. I will read it again though. So, but all right. Any questions? Any final comments for segment 1 from people? Because our guest has been waiting for an hour. So patient. Thank you. To get on. Why can't? Oh, F11. Okay.
Throw up the subscribe and stuff.
Yep. Oh, well, that should have been you throughout the damn segment. So please share or like, subscribe, and share, right?
Yeah, it's better.
And of course, should have done this at the beginning. If you want to contact us, you want to talk to us, Discord is the best way. You can also follow some Minds, Twitter's, local. I get to them when I can, but I make no guarantees on them. Locals, Heathen Dog, I've been pressuring him to give me content. You heard that right. I've been pressuring him to give me unpaid content. Yep. So Heathen Dog, where is my unpaid content? I don't want excuses. Interesting. This week, Redbubble kicked off one of my items.
Another one?
Yeah, this time the dummies people. Remember that the book that had on there
becoming a lich for dum-dums?
The dummies people came after me for not using the font and not using the dummies name even in the book. It said how to become a lich for dum-dums. Had nothing to do with the font. It was a yellow book. So apparently the dummies people have put a trademark or service mark on the color yellow. I'm not letting that fly. I haven't heard back from Redbubble yet, but no, sorry, dummies people, but you don't get that one. You don't get to trademark the color yellow. I want to see specifically in the trademark item on the patent and trademark site that shows where I broke anything to do with your trademark, copyright, trademark or service mark, because you're full of crap.
Yeah.
I know because I have a trademark. I went through the process. I know that our Legion of Myth logo. I know what people can do with it and what they can't do with it. And of course, we have our website. This is where you can find all our wonderful, amazing content. Our website, Twitch, where you watch us now on YouTube. Watch our past videos on Odyssey because that is better than watching on YouTube. And if you want to donate, you donate to us, and you want most of the money, nearly all of it, to go to us and not to YouTube and these other tech companies. You donate through PayPal or Streamlabs. And as always, please like, subscribe, and share.